The carburetor boot is made of rubber and connects the carburetor to the cylinder. The boot both isolates vibration from the carburetor and insulates the carb from the cylinder so it doesn't heat up, causing vapor lock. Over time, the boot can harden and crack. This will allow additional air to enter the cylinder, causing the engine to run lean and erratically. Replacing the carburetor boot is a repair that you can do yourself, and I'm going to show you how.
Hi, I'm Mark Socha.
Do-it-yourself repairs like these are easier than you might think. From lawn machines to cordless drills, kitchen mixers,
Outdoor grills.
our how-to videos walk you through each repair from start to finish. So doing it yourself means never having to do it alone.
Let's get started.
I'll start by removing the air filter cover and the air filter. Now remove the two nuts that secure the airbox. With the nuts removed, I can pull the airbox away from the carburetor. Next, I'll remove the primer bulb from the airbox. The primer bulb is held in place with a couple of plastic tabs. I'll use a pair of needle nose pliers to squeeze the tabs and remove the primer bulb. Next, I need to access the throttle linkage so I can remove it from the carburetor. To do that, I'll need to remove the starter and the side housing. With the flywheel side housing removed, now I can pull the trigger away from the opposite housing and remove the linkage from the carburetor. Now I'll remove the carburetor gasket and pull the carburetor away from the studs. And disconnect the fuel lines. I'll also remove the inner gasket. Now remove the impeller housing. Next, I'll use an impact wrench to remove the nut that secures the impeller. This nut is a reverse thread. And now I'll remove the flywheel. The flywheel fits onto a tapered shaft. To get the tapers to release, I'll place a punch in the center of the shaft and tap it with a hammer. Next, I'll remove the flywheel housing. And now I'll remove the screws that secure the engine to the housing. With the engine removed from the housing, now I can remove the two screws that secure the insulator to the engine. And now I'm able to pull the insulator and the boot away from the engine. I'll separate the boot from the insulator. Now I can install the new boot. The larger end with the flare goes against the insulator. I'll reinstall the boot and insulator back onto the engine and secure the insulator with the screws. I'll place the engine back into the housing and secure it with the screws. Now I can reinstall the flywheel housing. And I'll reinstall the flywheel. As I do, I'll make sure I align the key with the slot in the shaft. I'll reinstall the washer and secure it with the nut. Now I'll reinstall the impeller, the large washer, and next the cup washer. The cup washer should go on with the cup facing in. And remember, this is a reverse nut. And now reinstall the impeller housing. I'll reinstall the inner carburetor gasket. Now I can reinstall the carburetor. Now I'll reconnect the fuel lines to the carburetor. And I'll slide the carburetor back over the mounting studs. I'll reconnect the throttle linkage and place the throttle trigger back into the housing. And I'll reinstall the outer carburetor gasket. And now reinstall the housings. And now reinstall the starter. And now reinstall the airbox. I'll snap the primer bulb back into the airbox. Align the airbox with the studs. And secure it with the nuts. And I'll finish up by reinstalling the air filter and the air filter cover. And now you know how to replace the carburetor boot in your small engine. Be sure to check back often for new videos and expert advice. If you found this video helpful, give us a thumbs up
And leave a comment.